This is Water Elemental.
And this is Axis, and we are here today to talk about the League of Legends. An ongoing show. We took a little bit about everyone's favorite MOBA-style battle game.
Season 4, sort of.
Maybe.
Yay.
Sorry, the show's a little delayed this week, guys. We did have some small hiccups in our real life. Yeah, our real life schedule. So, coming to you now, a little bit late, but we do have a lot more information to talk about thanks to this slight delay. So first things first, Yasuo came out finally, so we've got him to talk out. Well, he's not out, but we have the information on that we so direly need.
So we actually, by procrastinating, got more information.
Indeed. Then we have 3.14 finally came out, and that brought along our good friend Turbo Dog. It was slightly more information about Season 4, and some of that stuff launched with the current patch.
All for One mode.
All for One is also finally out. We got that to play around with.
And just a couple of other interesting things. Anivia is getting a texture update.
All stuff that's on the horizon and we're looking forward to. But first things first, Yasuo abilities were revealed and a little bit of his lore. So we're going to jump right into that. The first thing he has is his passive, which is Way of the Wanderer. Passively, it gives him double his current critical strike chance at all times.
That is just silly.
And as a secondary effect to it, basically what his mana bar would be is instead replaced with this thing called Resolve. As he moves, he gets a bar filled with a thing called Resolve. When it's full, the bar will convert into a shield that activates after taking damage from an enemy champion or from monsters. Those are your jungle creeps. So this is a great way to, sort of get you in combat and give you a little bit of opening starting power. First ability is Steel Tempest. Yasuo thrusts forward with his sword, damaging all enemies in a line. Successfully landing a Steel Tempest grants Yasuo Gathering Storm stacks for a short period, and the third stack of Gathering Storm will cause Steel Tempest to send out a whirlwind that travels in a line and sends all enemies caught in it airborne. If you cast it during a Sweeping Blade, this ability will strike all enemies that are immediately around him. His next ability, and by far the most interesting, is Wind Wall. It passively replenishes his flow meter faster, which is his passive. And when he activates it, he'll create a wind wall. It'll slowly drift forward for a few seconds, and it blocks all enemy projectiles, which is crazy.
We'll get into this after we're done with the skills.
His next ability is Sweeping Blade. Yasuo dashes a fixed distance through an enemy, and it deals damage and marks them briefly. If Yasuo uses Sweeping Blade multiple times in succession, this ability will deal extra damage up to a cap. You cannot use Sweeping Blade on an enemy that has already been marked. And finally, his ultimate Last Breath. He will teleport to a nearby airborne enemy champion, suspending them both and all surrounding nearby enemies, and they'll be held midair while he damages them. Once he lands, he'll gain significant armor penetration against his enemy, and, against their bonus armor for an extended period of time. This airborne ability is procced by Steel Tempest, so you kind of got a combo to do that.
First off, let's talk about the most interesting skill he has, Wind Wall. This thing is going to be an amazing counter to certain champions.
It's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, you've got a Caitlyn on the enemy team. You counterpick him as mid lane. So she jumps in for an ult. Your team gets behind you. You pop down a Wind Wall.
Katarina.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not Cataline.
Don't
be ridiculous.
It's been a long day. But yeah, so you drop that down.
It would work against a Caitlyn, though.
It would
work. Over Peacemaker, her ulti can't get through there.
Yeah, as well as if you're playing against... Karthus, would that work? No, I don't think it would.
They're not projectiles.
They're skills.
They just show up on the ground. They're like, hey, dude.
Hello!
But, you block auto attacks, all Ezreal would just...
Minions.
I wonder if it blocks Ash's arrow.
You just goes away. That brings a lot of new gameplay. It's like, we can't really drop like a heavy missile like Jinx Missile or something because he will just drop it down. I wonder if he'll have the AoE effect along with it, but not like the initial damage to it, So you might still get slowed, but not.
It's hard to say.
We've seen it in use, but nothing to a big extent.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna really mess with game balance for a while because even if he doesn't get fed, that'll change team fights. You
have to approach it.
If your initiator is a projectile base, can't do it. Can't do it.
I don't like how his ult is activated by knocking him up. I know that kind of...
It makes it difficult to set off. You got a combo
Yeah.
into it, which is really difficult, especially when there's a stun-heavy team.
Yeah. And even if you're able to get it off, is it going to be worth that long wind-up time to get the ultimate off? Yeah, you get the armor pen to it, but the initial damage when they're knocked up, when you're doing like your Fiora type attack in midair...
From what I saw, what did make him invulnerable. So I'm curious if while you're up there doing your attacks while they're airborne, if you can just get knocked out of the sky by teammates who didn't get knocked out.
Janna just...
Tarek is just like, stop. Just, they both, I can imagine just in the air slicing and and just falls on the ground. Oh!
The scene where it's just like two people fighting in midair.
Because he's an anime character. And it's just like...
Tarek throws like a gem at him, and then they just kind of both like flop to the ground, like just...
Oh, that'd be terrible.
I like how Tempest Steel is like has so much going for it, though. It's not just a basic auto attack thing. It's like, okay,
yeah, it's your combo ability.
It's like you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. You got to make sure you're not putting on targets with this on them, or else it's not going to do anything. Or sweeping blade won't do this. It's just like so.
It's almost like a projectile. It's almost like a skill shot, but it's attached to your character frame. So it's just sort of like a lunge, but you don't move. So you can really sort of do a lot of cool things with it. And if you do sweeping blade, you do it all around in a circle. It's crazy. But we don't know what stuff's going to block with his W. I'm hoping it's everything, but we'll see.
It says all.
I think they're going to have to be a little bit careful with his ultimate, just because it is a combo ability, so it can either be really strong or really terrible. So we'll have to see how that goes. But guys, really cool. I'm not crazy about his lore yet, but I don't have the full thing yet, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, we only got like the kind of strange snippet that...
And I don't care much for his voice, but...
Yeah, his voice, like, I have to agree with you. It threw me off. It sounds familiar.
He's almost like Ezreal Dark Lagger.
And I don't like the fact that they made him a drunk. Come on, not every samurai needs to be drunk. It's...
Sure they do.
No.
Gives him personality.
Drunk is not a personality. Drunk is a lifestyle choice.
Oh, man. But we're going to move on to the patch notes here, fellers.
So, this patch is massive.
Yeah, it's very large. We had a lot of stuff. This is a lot of prep for Season 4. So we're just going to kind of go over the things that are kind of big. First thing's Corki's Phosphorus Bomb got changed to a projectile attack, and it gained some range. So that's kind of interesting. The total attack damage ratio on Corki's Missile Barrage has increased pretty significantly over time. Gragas's Barrel Roll got nerfed in terms of range, but it can be detonated on impact a lot easier than before. Susan got a slight buff along with his rework, but we'll talk about his visual update here in a minute. But mostly they just hit the scaling on his lifesteal, though you still get the same amount at level 13 as you do as live. Nautilus got a slight buff to his root duration, which is awesome. Nidalee, they really hammered her. Bushwhack duration got knocked down. Javelin Toss only gains bonus damage when it exits your auto attack range, which is pretty significant. I think a lot of people are going to complain about this.
I noticed this actually playing an All for One game, how I felt that the spears kind of, depending on...
Oh, and also you can't get more damage by running away anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was about to say. It's like I wasn't getting more damage depending on how far they walked away from me. Like if they... It's kind of pre-calculated from where they started to where they stopped. So it's like at that point in time, from where to where. So it's kind of weird. It's kind of something to get used to. And the damage looks like it's not being dealt as much, but you can't really cheese the system now.
Indeed. Nunu got a slight buff that made us consume better in terms of cooldown and damage and heal at early ranks. Sivir got a slight change to Boomerang Blade scaling off of total attack damage, so ultimately that's a pretty big buff.
Very big buff.
Indeed. Vayne got a slight buff in terms of her dam damage, but it's a lot more intuitive with the tooltips and the way the damage is displayed, so you're aware of how much damage you're taking from the Vayne.
I thought you said she got a slight butt, and I'm like, what are you talking about?
She got a big booty. I don't know what you mean.
In those tats, that big booty.
A lot of support characters got really weird changes. Janna got hit the hardest. They really damaged her kit significantly in terms of what she does. She doesn't have a global passive anymore. All of her spells and abilities got reduced potential in terms of the early game, but more potential in the late game. Let me just give you a rundown. All of the supports, there are cool things with like, here's my buff plus a thing.
Those are gone.
Well, no, they're still there, but all of their plus a thing got reduced in intensity, but they have AP scaling now.
Yes.
So the art, let's say, for instance, Eye of the Storm, the shield Janna has.
Yes.
The AD you give scales off of your attack power, or off of your ability power. For Soraka, the armor she gives scales off of her ability power. For Tarek, didn't get anything like that.
Well, no, his armor scales off.
Well, the heal scales off of his bonus health.
I think his armor that he gives to people now scales off ability power. Right. I don't know if that's new or not, but I think that's what they did for him.
Lulu's cool little Pix ability scales off of AP. Nami's Surging Tides scales off of AP. It's nuts. It's crazy. And I mean, some of Sona's auras also scale off AP now.
And you guys may be thinking about, supports aren't supposed to be building too heavily in AP. That's not true. With a lot of the new support items and support changes, it makes it viable for these supports to actually get real items, and we'll talk about those when we get to the items, about why that's so viable.
But yeah, guys, pretty much all mono supports got huge sweeping changes to them, so I suggest you go read the patch notes on LeagueOfLegends.com. It's very important. But as far as how we feel about them, it's cool. Scaling spells is the thing that League has that very few other MOBAs have. Most casters are static in other MOBA-style games. So this is very unique, and the fact that they're integrating this is going to hurt at first, because we're used to it. We're used to having that base. But now that it doesn't, it means it'll open up the door to new builds,
It gives support more things to do.
It'll mean, like, when your support gets that kill, and maybe can pick up an extra amp tome, that's significant. It's no longer just, well, I guess they can get more wards.
Yeah, because I've seen AP Sonas that are supporting, but they're still dealing a lot of damage, and they're in the fight, and it doesn't feel like they're not contributing anymore. Because a support Sona would sit there, she'd throw off her passive to slow someone, and she'd throw her Q, and then she'd throw up the speed boost, and then heal. And then, when the time's right, she'd ultimate, and then kind of put out some more small damage with auto attacks and her Q. Now she's like, I'm going to start dropping some large amount of damage, I'm going to drop a lot of big heals, and my R's are going to give me a lot more as time progresses.
Indeed. It actually hit some of Sona's AP ratios a bit, so she does less damage with AP now. So
but it's still...
Don't tell anyone.
She still hurts really bad, though.
Oh, yeah.
One of the first games that I was playing against Elaine, I was playing against a Sona as a Leona, and like I said, I wasn't expecting the changes, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Sona's not going to do anything to me, and then she just hammers me because she's building pure AP. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, Sona with her passive, she's always been a nightmare to fight against, but they hit that a little bit.
They hit it, but it's still, she can still do some good stuff.
They hit it and quit it.
But speaking about those new items, we're going to go through the new items and talk about kind of how they affect gameplay. The first one is Spell Thief's Edge. We might have remembered this as Kage's Lucky Pick. Costs 365 gold, 10 AP, 3 mana regen, 2 gold per 10 seconds with unique passive of Tribute. Basic attacks against a champion grants 4 gold up to once every 10 seconds per enemy. Killing a minion disables this passive for 10 seconds.
Indeed. It upgrades into Frostfang for an additional 485 gold. Doubles the AP you get, more than doubles the mana regen, more than doubles the GP10, and doubles the unique passive. It doesn't really do anything else, so it's just a slight increase, increasing your income. Next is Frost Queen's Claim, which builds a Frostfang Amp Tome and 715 gold. More than doubles the AP again. It only slightly increases the mana regen, keeps the GP and the tribute the same, but it gives it a unique active, which will chill a target enemy and all nearby enemies, dealing 15 damage, reducing the movement speed by 50% for 2 seconds. It's a minute cooldown. I'm curious to see what the range is, because the range is going to make or break this item. It's a 2,000 cost total. Well, it does increase your income.
What is it, Frost Shard? I think that's the same range as Frost Shard. They just changed it to, instead of targeting an ally, targeting an enemy.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like they're combining the ghost, the item that sends.
It's still around. It's still around.
So if you do both,
It's very scary.
You can be really mean to people. All right.
Because I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? It's still in the game. I used it last night. But the next item is Ancient Coin. Costs 365 gold, 5 HP per 5, 3 mana per 5, with unique passive of favor. Being near a minion death without dealing the killing blow grants 2 gold.
The next item is Nomad's Medallion. It builds out of Ancient Coin in 45. 8 health regen per 5. It drops the mana regen, strangely enough, but it adds 2 gold per 10 and doubles the unique passive favor. So it's kind of a trade, but I don't know. I guess it makes it so that way... Oh, actually, no, that's a typo. I think there is mana regen on it. It's just not printed here for some reason. Derp to derp. Come on, League. Because the next item, Talisman of Ascension, which builds out of Nomad.
It's back!
The mana regen is back. So I believe it is a typo. I'm not sure what the exact mana regen is. We'll try and find it and put it up for you guys. But Nomad's Coin adds cooldown reduction, increases the health regen to 10, 15 mana regen, 2 gold per 10, keeps the same unique passive favor with 4 gold, and then the unique active is pretty much essentially...
Shirelia's Reverie.
Shirelia's Reverie. So 40% movement speed for 3 seconds on all nearby allies. The next one, and probably...
My favorite.
Kind of the weirdest one, but definitely unique. I'm trying to figure out who would get this is my main issue right
Relic
now.
Shield. It is 365 gold, 50 health, 6 health regen per 5. Unique passive, Spoils of War. Basic attacks execute minions below 200 health. Killing a minion heals the nearest allied champion for 2% of your maximum health and grants them a bounty plus 5 gold. This effect requires a nearby allied champion, recharges every 30 seconds, max 2 charges.
So does it get 2 charges every 30 seconds or
Yes.
1 charge every 30 seconds?
It starts out with 2 charges. If you use them both, then it takes 30 seconds to charge. If you have one, it takes 30 seconds to charge. So it kind of refreshes depending on...
So it refreshes to full, though?
Yes.
Okay.
This, I'm saying, would be really useful in cases of a support that cannot heal like Leona. This is what I used on Leona, and I found it was very helpful. Yes, I'm KSing every now and again, but it's helping my... Like, I'm able to KS.
I guess, yeah, because it gives them the gold plus 10. So you're not
and
really...
you're healing them.
You're not really stealing it.
We're just both farming, and it kind of creates an engine, and it's very, very helpful. And the support the AD carry I was playing with was actually okay with it. I told him, it's like, I'm using this item, I'm going to hit a few things, it's going to heal you up, you're going to get the money. Fine.
Next item, it builds into Targon's Brace, which is Relic Shield plus 45. Almost triples the health to 175. 12 HP regen per 5. Same thing, except the bounty plus 10, and it has 4 charges that recharge every 30 seconds. So it gets even better. And next is Face of the Mountain, which is Targon's Brace, Ruby Crystal, 675 gold. 375 health, 10% CDR, 25 health regen per 5. Same effect, except the bounty gold is plus 10. Well, I guess it was for the previous rank as well. But
unique acting daily phalanx. I love that name.
Phalanx. It consumes 20% of your current health and shields a target ally for 10% of your maximum health for 4 seconds. After 4 seconds, the target will explode.
What?
Dealing 10% of your maximum health as AoE damage into a gory death.
Friends, come near me. No!
I like that it's 20% of current health for 10% max. I think that's a really kind
good
of
trade
way to handle it. I'm having trouble figuring out who would opt in for that one rather than the other items. I guess Leona, maybe Blitzcrank, maybe Thresh. But still, I mean, executing a minion at sub 200 health, that's going to push your lane a little bit. Unless you're very conscious about the creep score. So, I don't know. I think it'll be nice, especially with the heal on it. 2% of max health is nothing to spit at. And, bounty plus whatever is pretty good.
Or maybe you have a really tanky person in bottom lane that can benefit from it.
Like, can you imagine, Blitz Urgot with that? Would be pretty good.
Oh, wow, wow.
Because you just pump health into Urgot, and he just laughs at people. So I kind of see it, but I don't know. It's almost like I want to get the mana regen item more than just health and mana. Because there's no supports that don't have mana requirements. and those mana requirements start to add up.
Yeah.
So, like, you would always get Philly Stone, not just because it was good for gold, but because you needed that mana regen as well.
Yeah. And finally, the biggest change we want to talk about for the patch is the addition of the new minion creep. That is next, would you say across the way from Blue Buff?
Yeah, this is along with a couple other jungle changes they put in, especially to Wiggle's Lantern and some of the other jungle's items. They're not significant, except for Spirit of the Spectral Wraith. Wiggle's Lantern's kind of interesting, but nothing significant. But the new creep camp is significant. It's a little wild.
It doesn't. It feels like they just placed a minion out of nowhere. You walk by and just like, oh, there's a ghost there now. Okay, whatever. There's no buff he gives us. He does give you a health regeneration when you kill him. He gives a decent amount of gold and experience, but it's not enough for me to actually be excited about to start jungling.
It's just more XP. It's more stuff for the jungler to do because you get through those 3 small camps pretty darn quick.
And you can't really. Sometimes you just don't have enough to take on a red or a blue. Mm-hmm. But that's one thing. The changes to jungle are nice. Addition with the new, as I'm thinking here, the trinkets. That's the word. With the new trinkets and the fact that jungle plus trinkets can add some really fun stuff, like Lee Sin jungle. Now with the free trinket, you can jump around a lot faster.
Lee Sin, yeah, he needed the help.
Yeah, he needed that help, yo.
But it's interesting. It's hard to say how it's going to affect things in the long term since it just came out, but we're looking forward to it. Mastery's got updated.
I'm still playing around with them. I don't have my opinion on them.
We talked about them before, guys. We're not exactly. I'm still not 100% sold on them. It's got the same problem as Season 3, where in every season before, defense is the only interesting tree. Every other one is pretty static in terms of what you pick.
They are static, but there's a lot of more interactive abilities in the offensive tree, I've noticed.
Yeah, there's more cool procs.
Yes, I've noticed there's a lot of procs. Like, I was just kind of fiddling a quick build in one all for one because I didn't have a build for it yet because my masteries were wiped. So I'm playing Nidali and I'm getting spell power for attacks, or auto attacks, and then I'd hit a spell, it's attack damage. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, there's less. They're not RNG procs, which is the good thing.
Yeah, they're consistent, so you don't have to rely on randomization to, benefit from them.
So here's hoping it pans out for everyone.
Let us know what you guys think about the patch so far. What you like, what you dislike, what they need to change. Who do you think is very, very, very overpowered in the maps, underpowered? Who needs some tweaks? What would you like to see? This and that, yada yada yada.
And we're definitely looking forward to giving our thoughts on the new jungle and some of the new support changes in the coming weeks once we're more sure how they're going to affect the metagame. But the next matter is
the exact opposite.
Turbo Dog got remade. Well, not remade. He got a visual update, and we talked about this a lot. But now that I see him in game and I see a lot more people playing him. Looks good. I want Canine Susan.
I do want Canine Susan.
I want it bad.
I do have to say, I'm enjoying his voice. I went through on the wiki, and I listened to all his voice. Some of them are bad lines, but those are some of the new ones. I like the interactions with Renekton, and when you kill Renekton, he's like, the butcher has been butchered, or something like that. And it's kind of nice.
Tell Dad I said hello.
Tell Dad I said hello.
I guess it'd be more like this. Tell Dad.
Just kill me already.
I said.
Just do it.
But a lot more people are playing him, and it's like, hello. What's interesting. I think it's going to develop a lot of new strategies, and Tomlin's going to shift a little bit now that he's more popular. I mean, Susan, he got nerfed more than anything, so he's not anything overpowered that people aren't expecting. Just they're not used to facing him this much. So it's altering a couple of strategies, but nothing game-changing at this point, which is kind of a bummer.
What do you think of Infernal Gnosis?
It's cute, not something I'm going to pick up, but if you're looking for a flavor of Susan that's not Dread Knight, that's definitely the one to go for.
I do like the fact that he shouts, by fire be purged when you ult in that, and it sounds like Ragnaros. He's just like, by fire be purged, and the 3 heads pop up, and you're like, oh, this is not going to end well. And every time you hit Wither, he taunts you. He's like, to dust and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty nice.
I'm not dust. All right, next item up, All for One mode came out on the 22nd, which is a couple of days ago. Well, I guess today.
Yeah.
But it's only going to last until December 2nd, according to their figures, which is stupid.
Yeah, you don't even have one.
Just
keep it until you have one ready.
Just keep it. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not okay with it. I found some really interesting things, though. When I was playing Singed, it's not a good idea to play Singed. You think it's going to be great, you're going to have all the smoke clouds. The smoke cloud only is triggered by one person.
So
it just
can only
refreshes.
touch up to once.
Refreshes. Flings, useful. Still very funny to see people getting just like a pile of 5 Singers just mosh pitting them around. Brand is another really interesting one because his passive, again, triggers. So you have one person throwing something down in lane, and then the second Brand like has...
So they can proc off each other's burn effects.
You have one person hit an ult, bounces to all 5. You have a second person throw an ult, and then like 5 fireballs are shooting everywhere.
And they're going
like,
super fast.
It's scary on some of the combos that proc because the game is still thinking there's only one of. It's fantastic.
I can imagine Cassiopeia would be pretty scary.
No one wants to play Cassiopeia. Like, I've been trying to get
I'm
Cassiopeia.
curious about if Syndras can pick up each other's balls.
She's been disabled, so we don't know.
Oh!
There's been a problem with Syndra and Gragas, which are 2 name ones. And Karthus is perma-banned. You can't play him.
That's BS.
It's such crap.
The fun characters are disabled?
Well, 2 of them are disabled at Bug. Karthus is just, you can't play him. And the thing is, though, you can still ban him. I don't get it. It's...
Lee, come on.
Step up your game, right? Step up your game.
Teemo's okay, but...
every time I hop in a game, Teemo! No, Teemo. Let's do, something fun, like everybody be Xerath. No,
Urgot.
No one,
Because Acid Hunter would block off each other's Acid Hunters. Open the missile silos.
Aatrox was scary, dude. I was playing with an Aatrox and they were playing Jinx.
That's because Aatrox is OP.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, but...
it'd be like if you were fighting off 5 Ezreals.
I kind of want to do an inside, not for prize, love match between some fans and us, and we play some really dumb matches just to see what we can do.
Oh, goodness.
Activating turrets.
5 Lulus. Tsunami season!
Hey, Japan! Yeah! Too soon?
Probably too soon. But after that, it's not really a ton to talk about. No new skins on the horizon for us, unfortunately.
We'll be probably seeing some when...
Yeah, they've got their heads on the ground. They're working on more stuff for preseason. So. There is a texture update to Anivia. It's good. You kind of have to give it a look for yourself. It's interesting.
Some of it looks good, like Bird of Prey Anivia has some more feather textures, and Team Spirit Anivia actually looks better. It looks, instead of looking like a glowing bird with 3 different colors, it kind of blends into each other a bit more, which I like. It's still not as good as Ugly Bird. Ugly Bird!
The Hextech Anivia, it's fair. It's just slightly more polished. Nothing I'd write home about. Definitely needs a rework, not just a texture update. But I guess it's in the same boat as Rymus, where they're just not as popular as they used to be. But we'll see what happens with that. But that's really it, isn't it?
Yeah.
We move on to our own section here, guys. We got our first question from Mester12. He says, "Who do you guys think will get a Christmas skin this year?"
They kind of announced that they're not really going to be doing many Christmas skins.
Just like they did the same thing with the Halloween skins, because
no one likes events except for everyone.
I think because there are less Christmas skins than there are Halloween skins, they might do a couple. But if I'd say gets a Christmas skin, it's probably going to be one of the newer champions.
If I had to guess,
Christmas Jinx, like Mistletoe Jinx or something like that.
Mistletoe Jinx, maybe Lucian with 2 candy canes, just like they did with Miss Fortune. I want to see Lucian in a short skirt with 2 candy canes. Is what I want to see.
Please, Tarek, candy cane Tarek, gems, and just like peppermint just floats towards people.
Oh man, but we'll see what happens. It's hard to say at this point, but could happen. The next question comes from Garrett Chrismanic. He says, "Can you guys carry me to Challenger?" And the answer is yes. We can.
You have to pay 45 payments of $19.99.
and you must listen to every word I say, even if it seems stupid. The first thing to do.
Hey, Axis, we need a support. Who should I play support?
All right,
Where?
Garrett. Here's my advice if you want to get to Challenger tier. Win every game you play. That'll get you to Challenger really quick.
What happens if he loses?
Well, if he's not following my advice, he's gonna lose. All you have to do is win every game. Is that hard?
Yes!
Nah. You just gotta stand up and tell the truth.
The whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
If you can't manage to do that, then you don't deserve to be in Challenger.
Did we somehow just quote
stupid.
Duck Roll?
We're stupid. I'm sorry.
We
We love questions. We try to answer at least 2 every week, even if they're weird. If you have any questions for us about the show, about League of Legends, about gaming in general, about anything really, we're happy to field them. Please post them in the comment section below. Send them to our email. It's bestgaming@gmail.com. We're posting it on our new Facebook page. We'll see if we can get to them, guys. Otherwise, new Hex videos coming out.
Trying to work on them. We just got a new patch. They invited everybody into the beta, so there's going to be more people to play, as well as some new cards. We're going to try to get some deck lists.
noobs to stomp.
You were so vigorous about that. Stomp!
The dogfighting module for Star Citizen's coming out soon, so I'm going to get some footage for that, see if we can spit it into something. I am so hyped for that game, so I'm trying not to be biased. But we'll see what happens. But otherwise, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, this has been Water Elemental.
And it's been Axis, and you need to pack your stuff, dude. This is a wreck.
Happy Thanksgiving!